Hey, what's up, YouTube? I'm back. It's been a little while since I've posted. I suppose over a month or so. Anyway, quite a few things going on in my life. I've been pretty busy. So, can I blame that? Anyway, sorry for not posting a little more regularly. I would like to just share my coming out story. I guess I've never done one of these, so I've tried recording this video about 5, 6 times, so we're just gonna go with it. So forgive me, a little impromptu video late or early in the AM hours, however you want to say it. I grew up in rural western Minnesota to a very masculine family. I come from a family of truck drivers. I was a truck driver myself for a few years and worked on farms and fabrication. I was a welder painter. I did all the masculine things to try to throw people off from who I actually was. So, I had built a persona that was quite radically different from who I actually was. And it tore at me internally. It was hard to keep creating this character that was opposite of what I wanted to be. A lot of you trans people can relate, so I guess I won't go much further into that unless you guys want to hear about it. Back to the coming out. And this is pretty personal, but I think I'll share it. In July of 2012, I was overcome with dysphoria, and I was almost successful in a suicide attempt. I was brought to a crisis center, and I completed their treatment program, and that is where I first came out to my treatment group, which was anxiety filled. I was so scared. But it was a turning point. I realized that I wasn't going to explode by saying the words transgender. It was so scary for me, even alone. I couldn't say it when I was alone, even. I was so ashamed. And I decided to start hormone treatment. In my rural area, it is very hard to start something like that. And now there is a gender therapist in the area, so fortunately it is slightly easier to get the help you need. However, it's still hard to get the help you need, if you know what I mean, just to take the steps. But I started out self-medicating. I started in August of 2012 and continued self-medicating until June of 2014. I remember that doctor's appointment. Well, actually, I went to the gender therapist who my normal therapist referred me to. And she then referred me to a doctor. Unfortunately, I have to drive quite a ways to see this doctor, but that was another step. I went in, I talked to the doctor. I had mentioned to him that I was self-medicating, and surprisingly, he didn't give me a big lecture or anything like that. He did all my lab tests, all that. Everything came back good. I actually even hit my levels right on. So that was good. And he gave me the official diagnosis of gender dysphoria. And I guess that was kind of a turning point for me. And by July, it must have been, mid July, I came out publicly. It was tough in my little town. I got lots of nasty looks, and I remember actually the first place I went into as myself in my hometown is the place where I work right now. And I remember circling the block for, I bet, an hour. And I have 5 children. Of course, they were all with me. And it was so sweet. My daughter, my oldest daughter, said, "Dad, let's just go in. I'll hold your hand." And she did just that. And we went in. And it was, well, terrifying. But it went well. The person that was working is actually one of my good friends now. And I guess as far as the town goes, that's my coming out story. There was I get some hate. There are people that vocalize their hate, and it's very hurtful. But I am happy, and that's all that matters. The good far outweighs the bad. However, when I came out to my family, which I have one brother and my dad, both of them disowned me pretty much. Told me they couldn't condone this. Like them shunning me was gonna stop me, I guess. And they just didn't see the life or death struggle I was having. To this day, my brother still won't talk to me. And, well, I guess on occasion he'll talk to me, but I'm not allowed to see his children, my nieces. But I'm patching things up with my dad. They're very religious people. I was raised in a very religious household, which that's another story. I won't get into the religion thing right now. But I guess the main point of my video is to kind of explain the drastic change it is for a family and the reality of things. We come to our families with these problems, and we've suffered for many years, often in silence, many times hiding under many layers of masculinity. So it's quite a shock to your family. I think we need to give them a little understanding, and it involves a lot of grieving on their part. And really, for me, it was a lot of grieving. It was hard to let go of that person that I'd created, even though I hated it so much. But it really is pretty much a death. Your family has to give up the in their eyes, they kind of have to let go of those special moments, the first steps, the first baseball game, the first hit at the baseball game, all that kind of stuff. And to them, it feels like it's gone forever. In a sense, it kind of is, but we're still here. But we are different. So I think when going through these things, we need to be a little patient with our family and give them the understanding that we would like to get ourselves. It all comes down to the golden rule. Just give them some time. Let them process it. Like I said, I see my dad pretty much every week. And we have some good talks. He blames drug use earlier in life and still genders me male and still calls me by my birth name and seems to exaggerate things like dude and the male nicknames. But my dad is 66 years old, or 64 years old, and it's hard for him. He's not into the internet or any kind of research. He's a truck driver, like I said. He's been driving truck for 44 years, so I guess I'm just trying to educate him a little bit at a time. Trying not to overwhelm him. But I love him a lot. So, he can take the time he needs. And another part to my coming out story happened just last weekend. We had a family reunion, and much of my family, I guess my cousins and aunts and uncles, hadn't seen me since I transitioned. It's been several years since I've seen them. And I was really excited to go. Went there. It was at the lake. And a good chunk of them are a little older. But I got there. And as we walked up to the place, it was at a lake here in Minnesota. Me and the kids walked up, and you could hear a steady roar of everybody talking and laughing and all that. As we rounded the corner, it went dead silent. I mean, you could hear a pin drop from 300 feet away. And everybody just turned and looked at me. And there was seriously, I'm not exaggerating, well maybe I'm exaggerating, but it really did feel like at least 5 minutes of dead silence. Talk about uncomfortable. So, me and the kids scurried inside, and that's where my aunt and uncle that live in Maryland were. Haven't been able to see them in a long time, and my aunt had battled cancer, and it was great to see them. But as I was saying my hellos, I could feel an anxiety attack coming on, and it was the worst possible time. So I tried to get the kids going on getting their plates of food when I just fell apart. The tears started falling. My breathing got faster and faster and faster. And that's when one of the kids said, "Are you crying?" And everybody turned and looked. It was horrible. I didn't know what to do, so I pretty much just ran out of the door and went and sat in my car, where I proceeded to hyperventilate for at least 30 minutes. I could not stop hyperventilating. It was the worst anxiety attack I have ever had. But first, my uncle from Maryland came out and talked to me, which I'm very grateful for. I love you. And at the time, I couldn't even talk. I mean, I was gasping for air and overbreathing and all of that. So I asked him to give me a minute, and he did that. About 20 minutes later, my aunt came out, the same one from Maryland, and she had a great talk with me, and she's a great lady, and they were really great. They walked me inside, and we got a plate of food, and they went and sat with me, just me and them, and another one of their friends that didn't know me. Or maybe they did and I didn't know them or something. I don't know. But it was really good. They took the extra steps to comfort me and make it a pleasant stay. Gave me some good advice on focusing on the kids and just having a good time. So I'm very grateful. And if you guys are watching, thank you so much. It meant so very much to me. Anyway, this video has gotten quite lengthy, and I apologize if you have stuck around to the end of it. I love you, and maybe comment below and let me know you made it to the end. And thinking about the next video, I was thinking about maybe a Q&A. I could answer some questions on video. I had a lot of comments and stuff on my transition video. So if you've got questions and you stuck around this long, I promise you I will answer. So let me know below, and I will answer them in a week, depending on how many questions there are, if I can make a video out of it. But before you fall asleep with my boring video and my horrible lighting, I'm going to let you go. So until next time, see you later, YouTube.